Okay, so let's look through some questions on 5.4 homework. These first 6 questions here say identify what corresponding angles and or sides you know to be congruent. Use this to determine whether there's enough information to prove that each pair of triangles is congruent. Explain your reasoning. If the triangles can be proven congruent, what congruence theorem? So right here it says known to be congruent, or what you know to be congruent. You can start out by saying, well, we know these NP and MQ, these two segments are both 10 inches, so they are the same length, which means they're congruent. So NP is congruent to MQ. We also know that QP and MN are congruent because they're both 18. QP and MN. And then lastly, you'll notice that we have a shared side here. MP is congruent to MP. MP has to be congruent to MP. It's the same thing. That's a reflexive property. Are the triangles congruent? Just with this information here, we can say yes by side, side, side. We know that these triangles are congruent. Let's make sure we get this order right. Order goes M, goes to P. That's our first letter. And then we have N goes with Q. And then that final letter there is M and P. So that's all you have to do for these questions. This is an important question right here, number 2. You'll notice these are congruent. XZ is congruent to YW. And then we have that this angle here, WXY, is congruent to angle right here, another 30-degree angle. Say this is ZWX, angle ZWX. And then lastly, we notice that these share the side XY. So if you're just looking at what you know to be congruent as it's written right here, you would think that it's SAS, side, angle, side. But if you actually look at these triangles here, and you're looking at the order that you see them, this is not a theorem that we know of, okay? If you look at it on the other triangle too, side, side, angle, there is no side, side angle. Okay, so there's your key. Okay, we know that there's not enough information. And I'll just write NEI. And we'll write NEI if there's not enough information in any of these further questions. I want to cover this one real quick, number 5. You'll notice that MT is congruent to MT. That's helpful. Because MT is the side on both of these triangles. But the problem here is when I say AT is congruent to AM, as you see right here with these single tick marks. Notice that AT and AM only belong to this triangle here. There's no A in this triangle. So this doesn't help us at all. Neither does this piece of information. HT is congruent to HM. Notice HT and HM only belong to this triangle, but this triangle over here has no H. So, while you do have sides, sides, and sides, they're not actually comparing the two different triangles. So this piece of information is invalid, and we don't have the information that we need to determine these are congruent. This one's also good here. Since we have this overlap here, but they don't have the same endpoints, we can't say that these are congruent. No, automatically, just like these previous ones where you see the lines being shared on both of them, you can say that they're congruent. With this one, notice that the endpoints are different. KH may be a different length from EG. Okay, these may be different lengths, so this doesn't give us any information. We do know that this angle is congruent to this angle. Okay, and then we also know that angle F is congruent to angle J. Good. And technically, by the triangle sum theorem, we can tell that angle G is congruent to angle K. And I won't write a full proof for this, but this would make sense. If this were 60 and this were 90, you would know that on both those triangles, the last angle would have to be the same. Right? It would be 30 and 30. But having angle, 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 is that one of our theorems? Do we have a theorem, angle, angle, angle? We do not. So we have insufficient information, not enough information. I won't even write no. Okay, now let's look at these problems here. Let's see which one's good to cover. This one right here looks interesting. So we know that angle, we'll just call it M, as it belongs to this triangle. Really, we should call it BMD, but I'm going to essentially click the whole thing, separate it so you guys can kind of see these separately, and then this one here. Go. M. This one's also M. This is D. This is also D. B here and H. And say angle M is congruent to, as we see here, it's congruent to angle H. And then we'll notice that angle D right here, make sure I map these out. Angle D is congruent to angle D. I'll keep this black. Cool. And then we know that DM, this one right here, is congruent to this one here, DM, because they're shared side. Flexive property tells us DM is congruent to DM. Does this tell us angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle? Well, you'll notice with this triangle on the left, the green one, we have angle, side, angle. And so that's a good sign. But then when you look at the other triangle, you have side, angle, angle. So those are different. Those aren't the same thing. Okay. If this angle here, or right here, we had that, then we know that they're congruent triangles by angle, side, angle. See how they match up. Okay. And then let's do one of these problems. These are good problems. Let's see, we have triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. So if we're starting out with that information that they are congruent, and I'll just draw these two triangles. They won't be to scale because I'm not quite sure what these angle measures are. Make this a different color too. Okay. So let's say this is ABC, And make sure if these are in the same orientation, notice they're facing the same way. I didn't rotate them or reflect them or anything. A goes with X. Okay. B goes with Y. Remember, these are congruent, so their corresponding angles are congruent. And C goes with Z. So C is right here, so Z must be right here. Okay, this is going to help you. You can figure this out without having to draw this, but it takes a lot of visualization. AB is 15 minus 4y. So AB is 15 minus 4y. Angle ACB, ACB is this one. Notice the middle letter is the vertex. This is 47 degrees. XY, that's right here, is 3y plus 1. And then angle XZY, middle letter is the vertex, that's right here, is 2x minus 3. Okay, find the values of x and y. So what's nice about this question is they already lined everything up for us, essentially. We know that this goes with this. We know that since AB is congruent to XY, and I'll kind of show you that here with the congruent statement. AB and XY, notice they're the first two letters together. They go together, okay? So based on that, we can say 15 minus 4y is equal to 3y plus 1. Look at that, we only have one variable in this equation, so we can solve it immediately. The other one, we notice that these angles are congruent right here. This one and this one, so we know 47 is equal to 2x minus 3. Okay, and that has one variable, so we can just solve it right away. Add 3 to both sides, so x equals 25. On this problem, or on this equation, we could add 4y to both sides. That'll give us 7y, and then I'll subtract 1 from both sides. So I know y equals 2. Okay, I think I have enough time to get this last question done. So I'll do ABD. I'll do it like this. Oh. We don't run out of time. Okay, so we have A, B, D, and I'm going to get the same order for the second triangle. I'm going to get J, M, K. I know angle A is 2x plus 14. I know angle J is 3x minus 15. Oh, those go together, A and angle J, so I can already write an equation there. It's equal to 3x minus 15. And then we have angle KMJ. KMJ, that's right here, is 49 degrees. So if I want to find the measure of angle D, right here, I'm going to have to figure out what x is, plug it in, and then find that last remaining angle. So if I subtract 2x from both sides and add 15 to both sides, I get x equals 29. And so if I plug that in here, 2 times 29 is 58. 58 plus 14 is 72. So this angle here is 72, angle A. I know that angle B corresponds to angle M and they're congruent. So then that means the remaining angle, angle D, must be 180 minus 49 plus 72. Okay. I don't have enough time to finish this. So 121. 6 seconds. That is 59 degrees.